Here's an equation of a regression line where we can predict nitrates in milligrams per liter. So amount of nitrates present in water, for example, in milligrams per liter based on absorbance, which is X. So if we plug in X, the absorbance of light when it passes through the solution that contains the nitrates, the absorbance, value of absorbance can be plugged into this equation and we can figure out the amount of nitrates in the solution. So here the explanatory variable is absorbance and the response variable is the amount of nitrate present in the solution. So this is in the form y equals mx plus b. So b is the y-intercept, which is negative 14.52, and m is the slope of the straight line, and the slope is the number, make sure you're including the sign, that is multiplied to the variable x in the equation. So m is the number that is multiplied to the absorbance in this case. So 8.825. So we'll write it as a fraction. It's positive, so both the denominator and numerator are positive. We're going to write down the definition of slope, which is rise over run. Rise is the change in the vertical direction, so change in y, over run is the change in the horizontal direction, so that is change in x. But in this case, we know what the variable x is. X is the absorbance, and y is the amount of nitrate in the solution. Depending on the problem, you need to figure these things out. So in this problem, the absorbance is the x and the amount of nitrate is the y. So now all we have to do is write a sentence that describes the relationship between x and y, which is the absorbance and the nitrate, using this equation. So we'll start with the denominator, because only when x changes will y change as a response. So as the absorbance, which is the x, increases. Why do I call it an increase? Because that's a positive. By 1. In response, since y depends on x, the amount of nitrate and now we're looking at the numerator, increases. How do we know it's an increase? Because it's positive. Increases by 8.825 milligrams per liter. You have to look for these units in the problem, but let's say it says milligrams per liter. It goes, as the absorbance increases by 1, the denominator is always 1, the amount of nitrate increases by 8.825 milligrams per liter. So in any problem, first of all, you have to know how to identify the slope. Write down the regression line, or if the regression line is given, look for the number that's multiplied to the explanatory variable on the right side. And that gives you the slope. Once you know what the slope is, Write down the definition of slope, which is rise over run. Rise is the increase in the vertical direction. So that's a change in y over change in x. Now that you know what x and y are in this particular problem, all you have to do is replace x with absorbance, y with nitrate, and then write down a sentence describing a relationship between absorbance and nitrate. As the absorbance increases by 1, the nitrate level in the solution increases by 8.825 milligrams per liter.